Welcome to On Air with Kash. Our guest today is an actress, martial artist, and dancer. She plays Melissa Smith in the new feature film Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman, available on digital platforms on September 3rd. Please welcome Julianne Collins.
Hello.
Julianne, how are you? So good to see you.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I just watched Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. You were one of the first people I see in the movie. I'm like, oh my goodness, we got to talk. We got to catch up. What was it like making this movie?
Oh my God, it was so fun. Like mid-August, mostly night shoots. I love night shoots just because I'm like a night owl. I'm basically nocturnal at this point. So I was like, this perfectly fits in my sleep schedule. But it was genuinely really amazing. Daniel Farron's the director. He's so fun to work with, and I like being in those work environments.
Oh, it's the best environment. I know, and I've had the pleasure of interviewing Daniel as well. Great guy. We really bonded over movies, and what an honor it must have been to work with him.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, sometimes you meet a director and you're just like, oh, dude, I'm going to think about this for like ever now.
Oh, yeah.
And 100%. That's how I felt first day on set.
That's incredible. I mean, for me, it's like, I get inspired when I'm around other artists. So there's just nothing more magical than the good vibes on set, and it's a collaborative effort. And then when you see the work that we've done, there's nothing that's better than that.
Yeah, for real. I was like, dude, everyone here is so creative and like so on it. It was like everybody just understood each other, and it was so much fun for me because then I was like, ooh, I get to like play around and like have a good time. I get to play dead and like be murdered, and spoiler alert, I get murdered. But I was like, this is going to be so much fun. But it's like I get to do this really outlandish thing, and then I'm surrounded by people who are really excited to bring that thing to life. It's infectious, and you just can't get around it. It's like I show up to work and it's like I drank 4 Red Bulls. I'm like, yes.
And you delivered such an incredible performance. Like I said, I'm watching the movie. I'm like, there's my friend Julianne. And then it's eerie because you know it's a Ted Bundy movie, and I had an idea of where the scene was going to go. And I've seen so many documentaries about Ted Bundy. So just his approach, with the spoiler alert, like kind of luring with the car and the crutches, and so eerie. And Chad, he was such a down-to-earth guy. So to see him play Ted Bundy, it's a trip. And then to like watch you and other friends of mine in this film, it's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, working with Chad was awesome. I always get way too in my head whenever I'm working with someone who's more established than I am, has more respect in the business than I do. But like getting on set, like you said, he was so down to earth. He was talking with everybody, like the way that he talked about his approach to stuff, even just in the short scene that I was working with him, talking about camera angles and all that stuff. It's like having a short conversation with him. It was almost comforting how casual he was about the whole thing. I was like, oh, cool. I really am like a part of this. And part of me was just worried that I wouldn't have that experience, but it was genuinely so fun. And like, how many people get to say that they got murdered by Chad Michael Murray? I think that's going to be my calling card from now on. Just like a really genuine, nice person, murder, playing Ted Bundy. And I think seeing him switch from his like down to earth self into that character was like so weird to watch. I was like, whoa, like it's not often that you see someone make that switch so quickly in person. Mm-hmm. That I was like, damn, we really are artists. And it was also just really cool being able to work with Gianna, because like she's just such a fun person. She's so sweet. I love her to death.
Yes. She's incredible. Yeah, I actually had the privilege of interviewing her the other day as well too for the movie. So yeah, we had a great conversation.
So great. Kind and so smart. And working with her was just so fun. Because like all of our little scenes together, I was like, this is just great. This is fantastic. When it came to our scripts, it felt like it flowed so naturally, and that we both did the work, and then we both like understood how our characters are friends.
What was really intriguing about this particular film was in other versions of, whether it's a documentary series or film that I've seen of Ted Bundy, they really focus on his psyche, his charm, I feel like there was always this, oh, did he do it? Did he not do it? Was he misunderstood? That's kind of a narrative that I see. But with this particular film, Boogeyman, I know it was really important for Daniel Farron to really focus on the police officers, the detective work, and then it being the 1970s, really focusing on, they didn't have the DNA and forensic studies that we know now, and they didn't have the technology to track him down. And then it was really about giving a voice to the victims of these tragedies.
Yeah, I loved that about it too, because you're right. So many Ted Bundy movies are about like, oh, he's this like mystical guy who's so charming, and just like, did he really murder people, or is it like they turn it into this fantastical story? And I really love the script, and I love the way Daniel approached it in the sense of like, it's about the victims and about, yes, it's a very engaging and entertaining story, but it's also shining a light on like Ted Bundy was really messed up, and not in the fun Hollywood way, but in like a really bad way, and really pitting him as the villain of his own story, which not a lot do. And it was really cool to see that.
On the subject of giving a voice to victims, I know one of the last times I remember talking to you, you were involved in this documentary, and you were already accepted in north of 20 film festivals.
Oh yes, California's Forgotten Children. I did that years ago, but that's still like one of the projects that I hold dearest to my heart. It's a documentary about sex trafficking in California, about underage girls, underage guys. It's ridiculously informative. I played a young Marissa Phelps, who is a survivor and went on to go to UCLA and like build this wonderful life for herself. She's an advocate. It's a really good story about showing people who got out of it, but also showing how real that is. It was shown to lawmakers. Like, it went so far in film festivals. It's really brought a lot of awareness to the understanding that, like, similar to Ted Bundy, like, these things happen in your own backyard, and it's really important to not only give a voice to the victims and the survivors, but also it's important to show them as the heroes, because they are the heroes in those stories. I do really, really love that film. That one, I feel like if people ask me about stuff, like, that's always one of the ones that comes up in my head, just because working on that, I was on that set for so long. It was one of the earlier jobs that I did when I got out here. I was young, and that was one of those sets that I think really prepared me to be on a set like Boogeyman, because I was talking to the director all the time. I was still a teenager whenever I filmed this, but I was expected to act like an adult and work like an adult, and I had to figure out how to make that work and still do all of these really intense scenes and emotions, and bring that to life and do justice to whoever I was playing, because they were real people. And so I think that was really helpful in bringing me to this point to do this.
I totally commend you for your work, your interest in projects, like you said, that do give voices to the victims and really address serious issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. I'm stumbling over my words, my bad, but it really is important. And some people might think it's beating a dead horse, but it's like, it's not, because the more you see those stories, the more hope some people have. And hope is a good thing, and it gives you the opportunity to live better and get out of those situations.
Well put, you said it. You have such an intense resume. I mean, not only are you an actress, but you're a martial artist and a dancer.
Yeah, I've done far more martial arts than I have done dance. I kind of flip-flop between the two. You know, whenever I start getting a little burnt on the one, I go to the other. So right now I'm a little more into dance, kind of brushing up on those little rusty skills, but definitely martial arts. I did martial arts for like a good chunk of my life. Like, I have a black belt in Taekwondo. I did kickboxing for 4 years. I've done like, I've trained in a lot of like combat training for like film and theater. And like, that's a whole thing for me. I just really, I love doing anything that forces me to think about something outside of my head. Because when you're dancing, when you're fighting, like, you don't have time to think, okay, what are the words that I'm saying? It's about instincts. It's about building those instincts. And I think that's really helpful, in life, just to really build up how you feel about your instincts, but also in acting, it's like, if I'm strong with my own intuition, that'll help guide me in scene work. It'll help guide me in projects that I do. It'll help guide me into other things. Plus, if I know how to fight, I know how to throw my head into a dashboard of a car. So it's make it work.
I'm with you. I mean, I took martial arts when I was a kid. There was a group of us that we all did karate, and we all had, I mean, like, Mortal Kombat was really big back then. It was like, and we would always do this like choreography. I remember one thing we did, our instructor was really into Top Gun. So we did this, like, this martial arts thing to the Top Gun theme. And then Sensei Pat Johnson, he's the referee in the Karate Kid movies.
Oh my God.
He came in and he actually broke boards with us, and he was actually the stunt coordinator for the Karate Kid. We were so starstruck because we were kids, and he was like the Ninja Turtle movies were big, and we were like, you trained the Ninja Turtles. So yeah, it was a big deal for us.
That's awesome. That's genuinely really cool. I'm freaking out right now.
I studied different styles over time. I mean, I would take kickboxing lessons, and then I don't know what it was instinctively I had, but like the year leading up before everything closed down, I was just really on this role of, if something like, you know what, I want to take a yoga class, or I want to, take this stunt training class called Wire Fighters. And it was incredible. I mean, they get the harnesses on, and I'm watching people from Cobra Kai and other series that I recognize, and other stunt coordinators. And I'm like, I kept trying to do a front flip, and I looked ridiculous. Like my leg kept getting caught in the wall. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get through this. And then they're like, Kash, do a backflip. And I'm like, you're nuts. No way. And then they're like, just like what you said, where, it tests your ego, and you don't have time to think about a line. You're just there. And I just, whatever it was, I let it go, and I did the backflip, and then I was able to complete the course. So it was, it was really self-discipline training for me.
Yeah. I mean, backflips terrified me. I was like, I'm good. But punches, kicks, being thrown, like I'm good with that.
You were also in a Lifetime movie, Who Stole My Daughter?
Yes, I was. Oh my God, that was so fun. I feel like I'm gonna keep saying everything was so fun that I work on, because it just is so fun for me. Working on that was just incredible. It was one of those scenarios where I got to really play this like normal person just going through this like horrible tragedy and trying to pick up the pieces. And I find that so compelling, watching people after they've gone through something, how they try to kind of piece things back together and build their lives up around it. Watching them do that, I think, is just so compelling and so human, that being able to play a character that does that, it makes me happy. Like I don't really have other words except like it's fulfilling for me.
And I totally connect with you on what you're saying. As an artist and with your work, you're very interested in people, and your characters are interesting. You're very articulate, and and you really put everything into the performance, and you really want to bring your character to life.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of Lifetime movies, so I'm jealous. And Julianne, thank you so much for your time today. Please, everyone, I need you to follow Julianne Collins. She plays Melissa Smith in the new feature film, Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman, available on digital platforms on September 3rd. Julianne, it's always an honor and a pleasure. You are welcome back anytime you want to promote your next big hit. You're an inspiration, and your career is already on a roll. It's only going to get bigger.
Thank you so much. This was great, honestly.
I always have a blast. It's always good to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for rocking out with me and Julianne Collins. You are on air with Kash.